to Community Connections with Children's Services Council. I am but one of your humble hosts, Sean Boyle, and with me is
Ashley Mott.
And welcome to the best half hour you can spend learning about what community resources there are in our great community we call St. Lucie. Now today is a special day.
It's very special.
Every day is a special day, but today is extra special because our little radio show that is on the flame every Sunday at 10 a.m. is also being televised on WLX, the St. Lucie Education Channel, which can be seen on all their channels through all the cable companies, but also on YouTube. So if you're listening to us on the radio and you want to know what these faces look like, jump on YouTube, look up WLX St. Lucie County, and find us.
With caution, I would say. Don't set your expectations too high for that.
Good point, good point. But we have some great guests today, and we're going to get to them very shortly. But I just came from a meeting. We're clearly not live on Sunday if you're listening to us on the radio. It was about the gang initiative that's happening in St. Lucie County. And what I was struck by was how much our community works together. And it really kind of hit home as we're traveling to the studio today, because that's really how this radio program and TV program got started. About 3 or 4 years ago, we, the Children's Services Council, attended several community forums. And in those forums, what we found out was that families, parents don't know what resources are out there. So we approached then the station owner of WFLM, Representative Larry Lee, about maybe doing some public service announcements.
Some advertising about our funded programs. Small.
Right, because at the Children's Services Council, we'll probably get to this eventually, we provide children's programs in the community. And we said, Larry, can we do some public service announcements on WFLM to let the community know that there are resources out there? And Larry being Larry, and only the way that Larry could, talked us into doing a half-hour radio show. So here you are, every week. So here you are enjoying it. And it's really a contract, if you will, between us and you, because we're going to share resources and information, but it's up to you to take that information, use it if it's valuable to you, but more importantly, keep it and use it to those that are in need.
And we had a great conversation last week, if you tuned in, with Rosanna Gonzalez from New Horizons. We've talked a little bit over the last couple of months about mental illness, mental health awareness. And Rosanna, I was actually listening to the show yesterday, again, replaying the show, and Rosanna made some great comments about exactly what you just said, how our community works together and how we've really rallied around children, especially, rallied around initiatives like the gang initiative and how to prevent violence in our community. And I think that's one of the things that we try to talk about a lot on the show is whether or not these resources are going to be for you or your family, there is someone that you know, a neighbor, a coworker, a congregation member, that is likely in need of one of these services. And maybe it's through a brief conversation you've had with them at work and they express to you that their family might be in need of some counseling. Children's Services Council has the resources to connect them with the programs that they need. And that's really why we like to get you, the listener, and our viewers involved and be the resource for that person. All you have to do is spend this half hour of your morning watching the show, listening to us, and learning about the valuable things that are happening here in our community.
So maybe when I said contract, maybe that was a little strong of a word, but you understand what I mean. So real quickly, you want to let everybody know how they can find out about the resources that we provide to the community?
Sean briefly mentioned that we do fund 50 programs here in St. Lucie County, and there's a couple of different ways that you can find out about them. The easiest is to visit our website, which is CSCSLC.org, and you can get a brief description of each one of those programs there, as well as contact information. Now, in recent years, we've taken that even a step further and made it even easier than that. And we have a mobile app that you can download both on the iPhone and the Android platforms. The app is free, which is our favorite word. And you can do a one-touch phone call to the agencies from the app. So if you're looking for, like I mentioned, a family counseling program, you can go directly to that category where we list all our family strengthening programs, one button, and you can call that agency, which oftentimes is the hardest thing to do, is to make that phone call. So we've tried to make it really simple. And in addition to the website and our mobile app, we're also really active on Facebook, which we think all of you are as well. So
Facebook is one of our best friends.
we enjoy Facebook, but we share information on Facebook about our funded programs, about events that are happening in the community. Sometimes it's really just parenting tips or encouragement, which is helpful for me especially. But we've got a lot of great information on Facebook, and if you are not already fans of ours, we would encourage you to find us there and like our page so you can stay up to date with all the information we share there.
And if you're so enjoying this radio show and you want to hear more, we've actually got past episodes now available on our website.
Yay.
So if you're looking for a half hour to kill, what better way to do it, right?
It's very informative, rather entertaining most of the time.
Yeah, especially today, so they can see us. All right, so as every show, we go through a couple of quick tips, couple things. We have an after-school program called the Computer Assisted Tutorial Program, or the CAT program. It used to be at St. Paul AME, which is around, 29th and I. It was close to the New Boys and Girls Club.
J. I thought it was J. Close.
IJ, we're pretty close.
Close enough.
Good news is that it has moved to Garden City Annex, which is on, I believe, 33 and Q.
You really got to get your streets straight.
I have the phone number. Is it 33rd and Q?
It's 25th and Q.
Okay, that's close.
Yeah.
25th and Q. Everybody knows where Garden City Elementary used to be.
There you go.
Now it's Garden City. Alpi program has taken that program over, and they do have openings. This after-school program is free, and it does involve, obviously, children, kindergarten through 8th grade. ELF obviously also wants the parents to be involved, but they currently have openings, and we've always say this, we always emphasize the importance of after-school programs, because school gets out at 2, 3, or 4, parents to get home from work till 5, 6, or 7. What are they doing in that spare time? Don't guess, don't find out, enroll them in an after-school program. You can call the CAT program at 466-2631. Again, 466-2631, and they have openings.
This is actually really exciting because this is a neighborhood, a location where there haven't been a lot of after-school opportunities. So we're really excited about the move that they've made and really think that Alpi is going to do a great job with that program in that location.
And a big shout out to Kevin Singletary and Myrna. They're doing a great job over there.
They are. One more thing that we've talked about, gosh, I feel like every week we bring this up, but we know how important it is, especially during this season. If you can hear my voice, I still sound a little sick, maybe a little better. But kids,
should have told us that before we start taping.
Before we're sitting so close. Kids are getting sick, and it's just that time of year that we deal with illness, and it is so important for our kids to have health insurance and to be covered, and to have a primary care doctor that they can see when things like that come up. And if there are parents out there who currently do not have health insurance for their children, we have a local resource that basically serves as a helping hand for families who maybe are looking to enroll, have been disenrolled for whatever reason, or just need some help navigating the marketplace. And Danny Pierre-Louis was on the show with us several weeks ago, and she is here, and that's what she's here for. So if you have any questions about the health insurance, about Florida Healthy Kids, about Kid Care, about what the difference between all of those things are, give Danny a call. She is more than happy to answer your questions, and you can get to her at 626-5616. I actually just gave that number out to a woman in the grocery store over the weekend because I overheard a conversation she was having with a friend while we were standing in line at the deli, and she needed health insurance. So I jotted the number down and handed it to her. So it's a really good number to have. People right now especially are having a lot of questions about the marketplace and how to get signed up. So Danny is here for us, and that's what she's here to do.
Not to get into the weeds a little bit, but I'm excited because ever since we implemented or provided this resource through Danny, we've reduced our uninsured rate from 24% down to 9% for children. And we want to keep going. Our goal was to get below double digits.
We did.
We hit that a little bit earlier than we thought, but now we want to get down to 5 or less. So make sure that you call Danny. I think I have this number memorized more than I do mine.
I was going to say, you try to give your cell phone out and sometimes can't remember that.
And that's a good segue. This show is really your show, folks. So if at any one point you want to give us a suggestion on a topic, or, Sean, don't talk as much, actually talk more, we're open to all those ideas. All you got to do is, I'm going to give you out my personal cell phone. You can text us ideas. I get a lot of text on Sundays. That number is 772-237-1130. Should we run a little contest?
Sure.
All right, so Halloween is coming up. So first of all, Halloween tip is, trick-or-treaters, when they go out pretty early, especially the young kids. So when you're coming home from work and you're driving through your neighborhood, be sure to slow down, take your time, avoid the ghouls and ghosts and goblins, and make it a safe Halloween for everybody. If you see an insurance salesman at your door, that is my son's costume this year. Don't ask me why, but that's what he wants to be.
I like it. I think it's creative.
So here's the contest we're going to run. If you want to send us a text, again at 237-1130, about what your favorite costume is or was, we'll get you connected with a bag of books, and we're going to talk about how we got those bag of books, to read to either child, grandchild, niece, nephew, whatever, to help, again, promote reading. All you got to do is text us or go onto Facebook and message us what your favorite costume was.
And we should say thank you to those of you who have reached out to us either via text or via Facebook. We love having the conversation with our listeners and viewers, so please don't hesitate. If you think it's weird or you're scared about it, we love it. So you can text us anytime.
Feel free to text us anytime. I promise we won't bite when we text back. All right, speaking of, this is a good segue. We talked about, obviously, giving away books. We had a huge event. Gosh, was that in August? September. September. Sundays in the Park, where we partnered with multiple agencies, including Wal-Mart, to give away books to children. Every child that came got free ice cream, which is a big win.
We like ice cream.
But more importantly, they walked away with a book to help promote reading in the household. And with us today, we have two guests. First guest is Monesia Brown from Wal-Mart, who made the donation of the books possible. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And we also have with us, because she thought she was going to get off, we also have with us Brittany Birken, the CEO of the Florida Children's Council, which is the statewide association for children's services councils?
Correct.
You think I would know that?
I would think you would know that.
And I think I got it pretty good.
Yeah,
You did well.
All right, so let's first talk about the need for books in the home. Now, this would not have been possible without the donation of Wal-Mart to provide the books for families, not only the books for Sundays in the Park, but another adventure that we're on as well. But Monesia, thank you so much for that commitment.
Absolutely.
And I'm just, can you speak to maybe Wal-Mart's commitment to literacy or to this community or Florida? The stage is really yours.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's a great opportunity to talk about a company that I'm very proud of. We spend a significant amount of time and energy identifying opportunities to give back to local communities. Opportunity to give back to the community, whether it's through our foundation or encouraging our associates to participate in local programs, is really a huge priority of ours. So this was a great opportunity for us to really partner with you, and you guys brought the people and we brought some additional resources, and it sounds like it was just an incredible success.
Well, I want to say you brought people too, because we had some phenomenal Wal-Mart associates that came to volunteer with us that day. And the first week of September was warm outside. It was a little warm.
It always is.
So ice cream scooping is often a challenge. But one of the associates that stayed with us all day, he owned that job and he just loved scooping ice cream. I visited several times and he talked with the kids about whether or not they had chosen a book and what they were doing. It was just a really great way to see them giving back. They were so excited to be there, and we really appreciated them taking time on their Saturday to come spend with us to work through the event. It was just a wonderful experience.
There is no harder job at Sundays in the Park than scooping ice cream. Seriously.
That is true.
That line is nonstop for the full 3 hours.
That is true. But we also had a couple of associates that were at the book table. So they were able to engage the kids in conversation about letting them choose a book, which has really become, I think, one of the things that we value the most, at Sundays in the Park is we don't let the kids walk up and hand them a book. They get to select their book. And that's a lot about, the process of finding something that they're going to be excited about reading. We talk with the parents while they're there about, reading through the book with them, asking them questions about what they've read, kind of getting to that reading comprehension kind of ideal. But the Wal-Mart associates that were there that day were really great about talking with the kids about what they wanted, what they liked to read about. So it was a really, really neat opportunity for them as well.
Yeah.
And again, we're so grateful to Wal-Mart for that opportunity because, without Wal-Mart coming in as a sponsor, one, to scoop the ice cream, huge, but to volunteer because it's a big event to man, but also to the donation to be able to give out the books.
Well, we're really proud of our associates, and I think what's important to remember is these are your community members. I mean, as much as they work for our company, they are very much invested in the community that they reside in. And in this area alone, we have probably close to 2,000 associates between our distribution center, our Sam's Club, as well as our Wal-Mart store. So you have an investment already really enriching this community through the local associates, and they enjoy participating in these programs, so we're happy to be able to help them out.
So my mind's already jumping. We have another big event coming up. We need to get Walmart on board.
There you go. How can we get books out to people at that event?
So let's not let Brittany off the hook. We obviously, part of the initiative of Sundays in the Park is to get a book in the home. Can you talk, because you clearly, I know clearly you're the expert, but they're soon going to know that you're the expert about why it's important to start early literacy in the home.
Absolutely. Well, you know, families are their child's first and primary teacher, and we have everything we do, we honor and respect that. And sadly, there are a number of children that don't have books in the home. And so outreach strategies like those that you all utilize to, you know, go to community events to make sure the children have access to books are incredibly important. Reading to children, telling stories, pointing out print in the environment in the home is such an important part. We know that language acquisition is the best predictor of child's reading abilities later on. And so the way that children develop language is hearing it and having that communication with their families. And reading is an incredible part of that and a strong strategy that we would encourage daily.
I have to, one of the things that I remember specifically about this past event, and this was our 9th annual Sundays in the Park, so we've been doing this initiative for a while, but there was one very early in the morning, a family, and we had the books upstairs this year, and a family came up and she had 5 kids, which is a lot in a household, and as the kids were kind of filtering through the books, they all had selected theirs, and she turned to one of the Walmart associates and said, "How much are they?" And he said, "Oh, they're free," and she was shocked. Absolutely amazed that she was going to be able to take these home at no cost, because I would imagine finding books for 5 children in your home, letting them have something of their own to bring back, that's expensive.
Sure.
Books are not cheap when you're going into the store to purchase them, and it's, you know, it's so important for them to have access to them, as you mentioned, to get the language acquisition, to even, you know, be that much closer to starting to learn to read. Her kids were young, and you know, to be able to provide that to them, she was so excited, the kids were so excited, and it really made you consider that they probably don't have many books in their home. So being able to do programs like these, to give those opportunities to families is really awesome.
So hopefully you all attended Sundays in the Park, but if not, you can look forward to our 10th annual
Yes.
Sundays in the Park, which is in September. But what we're also doing now, with thanks to Walmart, is we are establishing a book club. So we provide a program called Healthy Families that works with families that are, we're not allowed to say at risk in St. Lucie County,
No, we
at
don't say
hope,
that.
that maybe have some obstacles that other families don't. And what we're doing is we're providing a book a month to these families.
And it's been a great collaboration with Healthy Families. They have family support workers that go out and visit the family, sometimes weekly, sometimes monthly. And what they're doing is taking almost a little mini library of books with them and allowing the kids in the home to select books while they're there. So we, in addition to providing the books, have the family support workers are actually starting conversations with the families about how frequently reading is happening. Starting at birth, because these families actually contract with or start working with Healthy Families before babies are born. So they're starting, you know, exactly at that moment. Are you reading to the children in your home? What kinds of things are you doing? Do you talk about the books that you're reading? So it's been a really cool kind of way to watch what's happening in our community. So we've given the pre-test. They've gotten maybe 2 months of books so far, and we'll be giving another evaluation to them in a couple of months to see if we've kind of made any movement on that stride. So we hope that continuing to have the conversation about the importance will get some parents to really get behind reading in the home.
And we're also looking for churches and
yes.
barbershops.
Yes.
You want to explain?
Yes.
And they can text me if they want to be involved.
I'm very excited about this. It's a new kind of initiative that we've just talked about doing, and it's there actually was something that happened several years ago with this in regards to the barbershop locations. But we are looking to establish little libraries at churches, at barbershops, at places where kids are maybe sitting for a longer than usual amount of time. Books are a great way to keep them distracted or quiet in church when they're
Engaged,
supposed
not
to be.
distracted, engaged.
Well, listen, have you seen my kids? Okay, engaged. We'll use that word. But we are looking for some churches to volunteer to kind of be our pilot locations for that. We will do all the legwork for you. We will deliver a little library. We will make sure that it stays stocked with books. All we ask is that you encourage the kids in your congregation to grab a book during the church service, sit and read it quietly. They can take it home with them. They can bring it back. They can exchange next week for a different book. Whatever works for them, whatever works for your church, and we'll make sure that we get books that are appropriate for the age range of kids in your congregation. We, as Sean mentioned, are also looking for barbershops that are interested in doing the same thing. We will bring you the little library. We will set everything up for you. We just ask that you talk with the kids while they're in your chair, maybe about what they've read, what they like to read, and we'll provide all of the hard work. It's really easy investment for our churches and barbershops to make. So if you are interested in either one of those, please contact me at our office or via Sean's cell phone number.
237-1130, and then I'll just give you actually cell phone.
That's better. That works. Whatever works. But it is an initiative that we're really excited about because, again, it's one more way to get books into the hands of kids and get them excited about reading.
And I've said this like 3 times already, but I'm going to say it again. It would not have been possible without Wal-Mart coming in to support this effort, this literacy effort, and really to support not just literacy, but St. Lucie County.
And obviously, it's something that we've been focusing on in our community, but the state of Florida is also doing a big push on early literacy. I don't know if you want to talk any about that, Brittany, about what's happening kind of on a statewide level.
Absolutely. We are working on a statewide grade level reading campaign, and everything that you were saying are amazing, incredible strategies that we need within communities, because it's really, we cannot just leave it to the education system alone. It's about communities wrapping their arms around the children in the community and making sure they have supports so our children entering kindergarten really ready for kindergarten. What's happening in the summer space? Do children have places that they can go in the summer and continue to have enriching experiences so that they're continuing to increase their achievement levels and not actually have a slide, which can happen for a lot of children if they're home in front of the television for 10 hours a day, then we know they can actually lose ground. And the other is attendance. If children are not attending school, then we know they're not going to perform as well on the tests. And the campaign focuses on third grade reading for a really specific reason. Third grade reading proficiency is the best predictor of high school graduation rates. And so if children are not able to read, everything that happens before third grade is learning to read. Everything after third grade, children are reading to learn. So if they don't have the fundamentals down, they're going to struggle, and then they're 13 times less likely to graduate from high school. And so the campaign is really trying to work and support communities who are doing exemplary work and be able to hold that work up and figure out how do we share that with other communities? How do we have an impact to make sure that we can move the needle on student outcomes? You know, Florida is doing a really good job, better than most states, on third grade reading scores, but we still have 40% of our students not reading on grade level. And so there's still a considerable amount of work to do. And so the campaign really targets on what is it the community can do? How can we support our students to make sure that we're increasing outcomes and know that our state is going to thrive going forward?
You know, one of the big topics that we've had in our community, and I kind of led the show with it, was gang violence and youth violence. And I read a study, because that's kind of what we do. We read what works, what doesn't work, was that educational achievement is a predictor of whether or not a child will join a gang. Because if they're successful in school, they're going to want to go to school and be engaged in school. If they're not successful in school, they still go to school, but they're not engaged in what's happening there, and they go off on different paths. And reading is really the key to all of that.
It is the key, and they've looked and done a number of behavioral studies, and what they've found is for even students that have challenging behavior in the classroom, it's usually linked back to not reading on grade level. So they're lost, they're confused. What are you going to do? You're naturally going to start acting out because it doesn't feel like the right place for you anymore. So everything that happens before that third grade is so incredibly important to make sure that students stay engaged and that they are really comfortable and excited about their education.
So, we've talked kind of about what we're doing, and we've obviously outreached. If you know of any faith organizations or barbershops that want to get involved, let us know. Either call us in the office or text me at 237-1130. I hope I don't regret giving out that number. But I want to talk about, and if we can, for the grandmothers and the mothers and the aunts, the uncles, the fathers that are watching, what are some things that they can do right now in their home to make sure that literacy is a focus?
Well, starting with setting aside some time to spend with children and read with them. My son is now 11 years old and I still read with him. He reads every night, but I continue to read with him just to share that experience and let him know that it's important. You can also model. So reading yourself, modeling, children take cues from us. Our value system becomes their value system. So reading, if it's magazines, newspapers, books, it doesn't matter. But if children see that that's part of your value system, then they're going to pay attention and it will become part of theirs. And then the other is just, not necessarily, for a lot of families, it's hard to find that extra 30 minutes or an hour, but taking advantage of when you are at the grocery store, the communication, the conversations. I used to have the best biceps ever from lifting my son to measure and weigh things, but it was a great educational experience for him. And I would send him on races to look for certain things. Can you find something with the letter R? And so you can start engaging children just as part of your daily routine and not make it that something extra, but just, again, really help them understand the importance of print, the importance of literacy.
That's great. Now, we have a couple minutes left in the show, and typically we give out your contact information. And so if someone's interested in learning more about grade level reading or all the things that the Florida Children's Council does, do's and don'ts, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, they can get a hold of me easiest by also giving out my cell phone number, which is 850-212-0408.
Can I write that down?
You have it. Or they can email me at bbirken, B-I-R-K-E-N, at Florida, spelled out CSC.org.
And by the way, we're going to go through all contact information, but if you're traveling and you can't get that down, keep in mind we'll post all this information on our website and our Facebook page. So now it's your turn. So somebody's got an event and they want to galvanize the Wal-Mart 2,000 plus. How do they get a hold of it?
Well, there's a couple of different ways. Certainly, again, we have store resources here right on the ground. So reaching out to the store manager is probably the most convenient way. But obviously, if you're inclined to look at some of our broad-based foundation programs, you can go to walmart.com and search the foundation, and it has just a wealth of information about different programs that are local, state, and national foundation efforts.
Great, great. We're about out of time. I want to thank Wal-Mart and Monesia again for not only coming on the show, and by the way, folks, these people traveled 5.5 hours to do our half-hour show, so thank you very much.
We're happy to do it.
But also for the donation from Wal-Mart, which is going to last all year round, so thank you very much.
Thank you for your partnership. We couldn't do it without you.
Thank you. And Brittany, thank you for coming down, giving out your cell phone number,
I know.
giving tips and letting everybody know what the Florida Children's Councils are involved in, and not only locally, but statewide. It's tremendous.
No, it was my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
We're about out. You got anything else?
I don't think so. Again, you reminded everybody that we are going to start keeping kind of a tally of the shows on our website, and we'll share that obviously on Facebook. So if there's a show that you've missed, you can always revisit. And if there is a topic that you're interested in discussing, please let us know. We're happy to find a guest to bring on so that we can talk about it.
And we are over. So thank you very much for watching and listening. Remember, it's our children, our community, our future. We're all in this together. We'll see you next time.